Hello, my sunnies. Welcome to my channel. Today's reading is about what you don't see coming for work and career. These will be general messages looking at where you've been, what's happening now, and what's next. Because these messages are general, a reminder to please use your discernment and take what resonates with you and leave behind what doesn't. To help you decide which group to pick, I've got 3 cards from 3 different decks. I've pulled out the 8 of Pentacles for each. The 8 of Pentacles represents hard work, skill development, and dedication to a craft. Alright, I'll show you these up close one by one. For group 1, I'll be using the Black and White Rider-Waite Tarot. For group 2, I'll be using the Sun and Moon Tarot. And for group 3, the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Okay, so these are the 3 groups. Please press pause if you need to and take whatever time you need to pick your group. And if you feel like doing so, you can listen to more than one. Alright, I'll see you at your reading. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. Today we're going to take a look at where you've been, what's happening now, and what's next for you in work and in your career. What messages do we have for group 1, please? Messages for group 1 for work and career. We've got a few cards here. We've got the Magician, manifesting and creating opportunities. The Temperance card, balance, patience, adjustment. Alright, let's see what we get next. Messages for group 1. Oh, here we go. You've got the Page of Swords, curiosity, planning, new ideas. 2 of Swords, indecision, a blocked choice. 2 of Wands, future planning, options. And the Devil card, unhealthy attachment, temptation. And final 2 cards for overall energy, we have the Emperor and the Moon. Right away, I feel like this is about someone taking a more active role in where your career goes next. You have the skills and ability to create something for yourself, but I feel like you've been dealing with a situation or person at work that has made things more difficult than they need to be. It could be someone who has been affecting your confidence, creating tension, or making you question what you actually want to do next. At the same time, there's a need to be patient and find the right balance rather than reacting too quickly or jumping into the first thing that comes along. I feel like you're looking at your options, gathering information, and thinking more carefully about what direction you actually want to take. There's a sense of, I know I'm capable of more, but I want to be more intentional about what I do next. So for where you've been, I feel like there's been a lot of learning and figuring things out as you go. You've had to use your own skills, your own judgment, and maybe even create your own opportunities rather than waiting for someone else to make things happen for you. There's also been this need to find a better balance, figuring out actually what works for you and what you're willing to put your energy into. For what's happening now, I feel like you're in a bit of a planning stage. You're looking ahead and thinking about what you want to do next, but you may not have everything figured out yet. There could be different options in front of you, and you're trying to decide which direction makes the most sense. You might also be watching and gathering information before you make your next move. For the Page of Swords and Devil card and what's happening next, I do feel like there could be someone around you at work who is giving off this devil energy. There could be a boss or a coworker who is difficult to deal with. Maybe they're controlling, manipulative, competitive, or they have a way of making you second guess yourself. and I feel like you're becoming much more aware of this dynamic. The Page of Swords can be about watching, observing, and paying attention to what's actually going on. So rather than getting pulled into their energy, I feel like the way through this is to stay aware and keep your communication clear. Don't react to everything they do. You don't have to prove yourself to this person or get pulled into their games. Keep your boundaries and document things when you need to. I know this can be tiring, but stay focused on your own work and what you're trying to accomplish. I think this is really important because this devil energy can have as much influence as you allow it to have. The more you recognize the pattern, the easier it becomes to step outside of it. You may not be able to change the people or the dynamics you're currently facing, but you can change how much access they have to your peace and your confidence. Overall, though, I don't feel like this is a reading about being stuck forever. I feel like you're moving toward having more control over your career. You're becoming clear about what you want, and once you make that decision, there's a much stronger sense of confidence and forward movement. I feel like the bigger message here is about taking back your sense of control, even though you may not have all the answers yet. You may be dealing with someone at work who has that strong personality or likes to have control over the situation and can create a lot of uncertainty or second guessing for you. But the Emperor is reminding you that you still have your own authority, you know your experience and what you bring to the table. The moon tells me that some things may still be unclear. You may not know exactly what's going to happen with this job or what you do next yet. So I wouldn't say you need to have everything figured out right now. But the important thing is to stay grounded, pay attention to what you're seeing, and trust yourself as more information comes to light. I'm going to ask for one last message for you. Okay, we've got number 52, mending, as the final message for you. I think this is a perfect message. This is about allowing yourself to heal from whatever didn't work out before and whatever you're going through right now. Don't let those experiences decide what happens next. Something may have left you disappointed, or you may be questioning yourself, but you don't have to carry that into what happens next. Stay confident and move forward from a healthier place. All right, Group 1, that's all I have for you today. Hope this has helped in some way. If it has, please do like, share, and subscribe if you feel like doing so. I'd really appreciate it. I hope to see you again at the next one. Sending lots of love. Bye-bye. Hi, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. For this reading, we'll be looking at where you've been, what's happening now, and what's next for work and career. Okay, let's see what we get. Messages for group... Oh, that's a bit too much. Messages for Group 2, please. I think this card wants to come out. We've got the Two of Swords, a difficult choice. All right, what messages do we have for Group 2, please? Did I see something? No. Messages, please, for Group 2. Here we go. We've got the Magician. Manifesting, taking initiative. Ten of Swords, a painful ending, ruin. Looking at these three cards together, I feel like you may have reached a point where you can't really keep going the way you've been going. There's been a lot of uncertainty around what to do next, but at the same time, you know you have the ability to change things. Something has run its course, and I feel like there's a growing realization that staying in the same situation isn't going to give you a different result. Okay, let's see what we get next. Messages for group 2, please. Messages. Oh, we've got a bunch of cards here. I think we can work with this. We've got the 7 of Swords, futility, avoiding truth, the Moon, unclear path, King of Cups, emotional control, and we've got 2 cards for overall energy. We've got a Death and Rebirth card and the 10 of Wands. There's a pretty strong message here that something needs to come to an end. There's a lot that you're carrying, responsibilities, pressure, expectations, maybe even things that aren't really yours to carry anymore. I think it's time to put some of that down and allow something new to take its place. I'm getting a sense of a tendency to avoid making a decision, or maybe telling yourself you'll deal with something later. There's a feeling of not knowing exactly what's ahead, which can make it easier to stay with what's familiar. But being able to step back and understand what you're feeling and making decisions without letting fear or emotion completely take over is definitely something that you're becoming more aware of. Okay, I want to get into a bit more of the story behind this change. So with where you've been with the 2 of Swords and 7 of Swords, I feel like there's been a lot of avoiding a decision here. You may have known something wasn't working, but instead of really dealing with it, you kept going, maybe hoping things would change or that the answer would become clearer on its own. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Sometimes when we're not ready to make a change, we find ways to stay in this situation a little longer. But looking back, I think you're starting to see how much energy that indecision has taken from you. Now you're in a place where you know you have the ability to change things, but you may not know exactly what that change looks like yet. There's still some uncertainty around what's ahead. You might have ideas or different possibilities in mind, but you can't see the whole path clearly, and I think that's okay. The important thing here now is that you're recognizing you actually have a choice. You don't have to stay in the same situation just because you haven't figured out the next one yet. With the 10 of Swords and King of Cups, with what's coming next, this feels like coming to terms with an ending. Something will have reached its point where you can't keep carrying it in the same way. The King of Cups tells me you're approaching this differently than you might have in the past. Rather than making a decision from frustration or emotion, you're able to step back and say, okay, this is what's happening, this is how I feel about it, and what do I actually want to do from here? There's more emotional maturity and control around the decision. And I think that's really the bigger message here. You're not just ending one situation, you're becoming aware of a pattern that kept bringing you back to the same place, and you're starting to see what you've been tolerating, avoiding, or carrying for too long. And that allows you to do something different this time. Okay, I want to pull one final message for you. A final message for group 2, please. Final message for what's next in work for group 2. Okay, we've got 2 cards. Number 37, Never Ending Story, and number 3, Between Worlds. This really brings everything together. I feel like you've been repeating the same cycle, possibly without fully realizing it at first, and now you're seeing it. You're recognizing, okay, I keep ending up here in the same place for a reason. And Between Worlds feels like that in-between stage where you know you're not meant to go back to the old way, but you haven't fully stepped into the new one yet. So there may still be some uncertainty, but I think that's part of the process. You're becoming aware of the pattern, and the awareness is what gives you the opportunity to finally do something different. All right, my sunnies, that's all I have for you today. I hope that this has helped in some way. If it has, please do like, share, and subscribe if you feel like doing so. I'd really appreciate it. Sending you lots of love and many blessings. Hope to see you again at the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, Group 3. Welcome to your reading. Today we'll be going over where you've been, what's happening now, and what's next for you in work and career. Okay, let's see what we get. Messages for Group 3, please. Messages for what's next in work and career. Oh, we've got the King of Pentacles, financial stability. Eight of Cups, walking away from something. Okay, we've got a few cards here. The Devil, feeling stuck. The Emperor, authority, stability. The Lovers, aligned choice, partnership. Okay, last card for Group 3, please. We've got Nine of Pentacles, independence, self-sufficiency. The general sense I'm getting here is that there's someone who has already made a career move. This isn't necessarily someone starting out or trying to figure out what they want to do in life, but maybe you're someone who's already built experience, you know what you're capable of, and you probably made this move because on paper it looked like the right decision. Maybe you were offered better money, a better title, more responsibility, or it just seemed like a good opportunity at this stage in your career. But now that you're actually in it, something feels missing. It may not be a terrible job at all. In fact, a lot of things might look good from the outside, but there's a feeling of, is this really it? Something about the role or environment isn't giving you the satisfaction you thought it would. Okay, let's take a look closer. With the Emperor and King of Pentacles, I'm getting the sense you've worked hard to build a stable career and you've probably reached a point where you know your value. You're experienced, capable, and you're not looking to start over. This move may have been about stepping into something that felt more established or gave you more responsibility and security. Some of you made a practical decision to move into the role you're in based on what made sense at the time. But now with the Eight of Cups and the Lover's card, you're questioning whether this is actually where you want to stay. The Eight of Cups feels like recognizing that something's missing, even if there's nothing obviously wrong with it. And the Lover's card brings that choice. Do I stay because this looks like the right opportunity, or do I listen to what I actually want? I think there's a growing realization that your next career decision needs to feel right, not just look right on paper. With the Devil and Nine of Pentacles, I feel like you're becoming much more aware of what's been keeping you there. Maybe it's the salary, the security, the responsibility, or the feeling that you've already invested so much into this move. There can be the thought of, I just made this change, so should I really be thinking about leaving already? But the Nine of Pentacles points towards wanting more independence and feeling comfortable with your own choices. You may start looking at what would give you more freedom and satisfaction rather than just staying somewhere just because it seems like the practical choice. Okay, I want to pull one last message for you. One last message for Group 3, please. A final message about career and work for Group 3. Okay, we've got number 34, a leg up. The message here is that you're not going to have to figure out what to do next completely on your own. There's going to be someone who may offer advice, make an introduction for you, or point you toward an opportunity that you wouldn't have found yourself. If you're already established in your career, your experience and connections could really help here. There may be support around you that makes the next transition feel a lot easier. All right, my sunnies, that's all I have for you today. I hope this has helped in some way. If it has, please do like, share, and subscribe. If you feel like doing so, I'd really appreciate it. Sending you lots of love and many blessings. Bye-bye.